Hi, let us understand how to use the Google Cloud Build where I can use the Cloud Build to create the images. Before getting into the demo, I'm going to demonstrate what are all the setup needs to be done as a part of the Google Cloud Platform and what are all the authentication mechanism to be set. I have registered an account with Google Cloud Platform, and once you get into the Google Cloud Platform, this is how you're going to have the dashboard. And you can make use of the services. Few of the services it's chargeable and few of the services it's part of the free tier. You can make use of the documentation to understand the pricing of Google Cloud Platform. And already we do have an EC2 instance where Skaffold is installed and Minikube is installed so that we can deploy the artifacts of Kubernetes into the Minikube and test it out. In the earlier demo, we were using the local Docker daemon to do the build. And in this particular case, I am going to use the Google Cloud Build services available as a part of the Google Cloud Platform and create the images. As a part of the Google Cloud Platform, assume this is the Google Cloud Platform where I am going to have the Cloud Build services. First, we will be enabling the Cloud Build services. For every project, once you access the Cloud Build services dashboard, it's going to ask for enabling the service. Once you enable, you can make use of it. To connect to this specific Cloud Build, we will be downloading an access key by creating a service account. In my case, I do have a project called Meteor. If I get into the Meteor project, as a part of the access service, I access the IAM where I can create different accounts. Here I created an account called Skaffold 1 of type under identity. I created a service account. I can get into the identity. As a part of the identity and service, I got into the identity and service accounts. Here I created a service account called Skaffold 1 by getting into the create service account and provided the account name. Based on the project that I am working on, the account ID would get created. Let me give a small example, and I can provide access to this particular project or any specific service. For easier understanding, make this particular user as the owner of the project so that this particular service account will have all the access. Generally, we may need to have access to the artifact registry as well as the repository that we are going to create, and we need to create a bucket. More in detail about the buckets, artifacts, the registry and the repository, I will be explaining it when we are creating those services. Let me say continue and say done. To use this specific service account to access the services of Google Cloud Platform, I need an authentication mechanism. For that, I need a key to be created. As a part of the actions, I can go ahead and say create key. I can use the option JSON. Say create. The key would get created as a JSON file, and that particular file needs to be copied into the EC2 instance or the machine from where I am going to use this particular service account. And this particular JSON file will be having the private key and the access details to utilize the services. Keep this particular key in a safe location. And I have copied the entire key as a part of this particular JSON file, gcb.json. I'm not displaying the content of this particular file as it is having the private key of my service account. Also, when I am using the Google Cloud Build, say for example, if I get into the Google Cloud Build, First time when I'm accessing, it's going to ask for an option to enable Google Build for this particular project. Once it is enabled, you should be in a position to access the dashboard. And Google Build will be building the image and storing it as a part of the buckets within Google Cloud Platform. As a part of the storage, you can see browse. That's going to list the buckets, and if the bucket is not available, it's going to create a new bucket. Bucket is nothing but it's an object storage where it's going to act like a folder, and within it we can have a number of objects. Images will be stored as an object. This particular bucket was created, and this needs to be unique across the globe. So choose a unique name for it. And the last thing that needs to be set up is the artifact registry. Once you get into the artifact registry, you can create a number of your own repositories. In our earlier project, we used Docker Hub as the registry, and we created repositories within it. And to access the external artifacts to push the images, we need to set up the authentication mechanism. For that, we will end up using the other services like key rings and the key management services of Google Cloud Platform. And to make things simple, I made use of the artifact registry of Google Cloud Platform and created a repository. Here I do have a repository so that I can use this specific repository to add the images. This was the image that was added earlier. Now I am going to delete it so that Skaffold can add the new image into it. And this particular link is going to provide the image URI. Now we do have the entire setup, that is Cloud Build is configured for the project, and I do have the artifact registry and a repository is available within it, and I have downloaded the key details to be used with the Skaffold so that I can set up that particular key using the environmental variable Google application credentials. With all this setup, I'm going to do the build of images using Google Cloud Build. So in a quick summary, we learned about how the environment needs to be set up in AWS and within Google Cloud Platform, and how we are going to make the communication between the Skaffold, Minikube, Cloud Build, and the other services that needs to be created like artifact registry and the buckets.